we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
Welcome back to the Brad Rach vlog. It's been
We don't need to
3 weeks.
We need to do this every time. I feel like every single time we film, we're like, oh my gosh, we're so terrible. It's so hard to vlog. Like, that's every video that we post lately.
We just left off. We were at Mike and Brenda's house. I did a house tour. The battery died.
Oh,
And
geez.
that was about 2 weeks ago. We were back in St. Mary's, Georgia. And
It's cold in here.
it's in the middle of Tropical Storm Debbie.
It was Hurricane Debbie.
It was hurricane for a minute, for like a half a day. And then, actually, I got to come home from work early today, so I got home at noon.
Hopefully you put on the right attachment.
Yeah.
Okay, whew.
So I came home from work at noon, and everybody has the day off work tomorrow, except for I'm going down to Jacksonville to the Hyatt Hotel to give a couple of lectures on the eyeball. It's basically a bunch of what's called IDCs, which is Independent Duty Corpsmen. So it's like on a submarine, they don't actually have an MD. They're basically like PAs, but they're not exactly PAs. They're called IDCs. So I am going to give them, they have a little bit of eye knowledge, just not very much. They're just not taught that much in school. So I'm just going to give them like a crash course of what's common eye conditions, some red flags to look out for, and then just like some interesting cases. And so, like, I'll start the presentation with a joke. Well, so obviously, like, I'll introduce myself, and then say that I will say that I took, good thing I'm in the Navy, because I brought my boat here because I couldn't drive. Get it? That was Rachel's joke, so that's a good one. I'll use it.
This hurricane, if you're unfamiliar with what this hurricane's doing, it's like stalling out and causing just a ton of flooding.
It's going like 6 miles an hour.
So it's just like
just a lot of rain.
Not a lot of wind or like damage, just like a lot of flooding.
And then I'm gonna make the joke about having like 5 kids, so these jokes are just gonna get cornea and cornea. Get it instead of cornier, because it's an eye lecture. And then, so like in the military, how it's laid out, it's like the first slide is like the objectives of the lecture, but instead of saying like objectives, I titled it, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna tell you. So,
oh my gosh.
yeah, get it? Like,
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna tell you, then I'm gonna tell you, and then I'm gonna tell you what I told you.
Exactly.
Classic.
And then I'll just do an overview, like a rehash.
Square around it back here.
I'm just gonna do a rehashing of ocular anatomy. Hey, do you know?
You can't like
What?
all of a sudden put your head up like that, because
Oh.
I just made the back uneven.
Oh, well,
You have to be a
That's
little
okay.
still when I'm doing something particular.
you can even it back up.
Did you know you had a cowlick right here?
Yeah.
A big one.
Do you know what body part has, well, besides your female body part, do you know what body part has the most nerve endings?
Me?
Yes, the most dense.
The cornea.
No, it's not.
It's not the cornea?
The cornea has the highest nerve endings of soft tissue,
Okay.
but any other
Are
guesses?
you talking about the retina?
No. No, like nerve.
Nerve endings like feeling?
Yeah.
Sensation?
Uh-huh.
Your epiglottis?
No, your fingertips.
Oh. That makes sense.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
I've lied to a lot of patients, telling them that the cornea,
Well, the cornea has the most...
soft tissue nerve endings.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you're not wrong.
Because like when people come in with a corneal abrasion and they're just like in such huge pain and they're like, how big is it? And I'll be like, a millimeter?
Exactly.
But
and that's what I'm going to
in
say.
that location, a millimeter scratch is...
And that's what I'm going to say during this presentation, because, you know, these guys are going to be looking. So we put in what's called like fluorescein stain, and like just a tiny little area of staining can really cause a lot of pain. So I'm just going to remind them that can happen. That smells like straight vinegar.
It does, I'm sorry. It had vinegar in here before. I mean, you're gonna shower.
Yeah, thank God.
I think what was in the top of the straw was maybe still a little bit of vinegar.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, in multiple charts, I have seen the word pus, especially like the primary care department or like IDCs.
Spelled wrong?
No,
Oh.
pus, just like PUS.
Uh-huh.
And so, I'm gonna kind of like make the joke, like, do me a favor. Let's stop calling it pus,
Purulent.
i.e. like a pussy discharge.
Oh, because they spell that
Because how do you
wrong.
spell pussy? So we're gonna say it's purulent or mucopurulent.
Uh-huh.
So let's just get pus out of the vocabulary.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be a good one.
I know.
How do you spell pussy?
Because it's true. Like, I've seen that in a bunch of charts.
Same.
I mean, not a bunch, but. And then I also have some pretty interesting cases of like gonorrhea. I'm going to talk a little bit about chlamydia, herpes simplex, some cool corneal abrasions, hordeolums, chalazion, central central serous retinopathy. And so it'll be a pretty good lecture. Is there anything off the top of your head
No.
that you would add?
Like 75% of what you just said, they're gonna have no idea what those conditions are.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Okay.
You were gonna vlog today. What were you gonna vlog about? I'm
I
gonna
can't
go hop in the shower.
I guess you can smell vinegar still?
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah, I have the vinegar in a spray bottle because I use it to clean sometimes. But I really hate the smell of vinegar also, so I generally just don't. I worked in the kids' schoolroom today quite a bit. You can kind of tell if I hold the camera like this, or not tell at all if I do this, but we got into these little kits from, I think it was from Target. Our friend Lex gave it to, like one of her kids gave it to Eloise for her birthday. They're the Mondo Llama Jungle of Bucket Crafts, but they have different themes. The kids love these, and they can somewhat independently put together some crafts. So like, they were making hilarious stuff, just like popsicle stick people. And so we still have that going on in here. But with school coming up, I am just kind of preparing this room. I didn't realize, like for some reason I didn't anticipate this being the room that we did a majority of our school. I thought we would do a lot of it in the playroom for some reason. Like they each have a desk in the playroom, and I think that's why. And they do some things out there, like when they work on their handwriting books, they'll go out to their desk sometimes and do that. Or if I have like a coloring page for them for some holiday. But a majority of like the classroom work that we do is in here, and this room happens to be perfect for it. So I'm just trying to like make it more perfect. I was not as organized in here as I wanted to be, like doing school in here all the time. So I've kind of rearranged a little bit. I honestly can't remember like the last time you guys would have seen this room, but we did have the table 90 degrees from where it's at right now and against the wall. And now with like the babies participating, we turned it this way to give more seating. That dresser was in one of the bedrooms, and I brought it out here just to have more space to store craft type stuff. I got some bins for up here. These are those frames that you can store artwork in it and display artwork, obviously. And so I had the kids like do some watercolor up there so I can put their pictures in the frame. So that's Bear, that's Lyndle's. That's Eloise's. And then I got some more bins for over here, which I don't have anything in those yet, but I have plenty of things that could go in there. I'm just trying to kind of wait to see like what it needs to be the most accessible. Little chalkboard over here, and then more bins, just kind of like all of the random bins that I wasn't using for anything else I put in here. Little file cabinet. So this room is shaping up and getting ready for school. I got like our printer here with like all the paper we use for the printer there. And yeah, so I worked really hard on that. We ended up getting a new dry erase board. The company was really kind and sent it to us. They were like, could you use one? And I was like, I mean, yes. We had like a small one, but this one is so awesome because it's two-sided. Let me show you. I didn't even know these things existed, but the kids obviously love playing on it. So it's double-sided. You can just flip it around and there's more dry erase on the back. And then you can also do this. And so like if you're working on one and you want to switch it to where the other one's on top, you can just switch it. So really cool. I can put the information in the description box below if you happen to need something like that. So that was one of my goals like this weekend to get done. And the other goal I had was this pantry, which we're moving along. This is the catch-all. This pantry tends to stay pretty nice and organized. It's like more aesthetic, and so it just naturally stays nicer. This one, like everything gets dumped in here. If we have a random bag of chips, they just get like thrown in, and it just gets to where you can't, there's no room to even set anything down. And so I was just getting really frustrated and started working on that a little bit. So yeah, anyway, that wasn't necessarily what I was gonna vlog earlier. We were also doing some experiments with the kids and just some fun stuff. So I think we're gonna try to get a little bit more into vlogging again. We're just kind of feeling guilty about, so there's a lot of reasons, but we're starting to feel a little guilty about just like not having videos to look back on with Ada and Allie being at this really adorable age. They are just so funny and so cute. If you want daily stuff, we're on Instagram, or I'm on Instagram almost daily. So you can always hop over there and see like what we're doing on the daily in real time. Or if you want to stick around here, I think we're gonna try to be better about posting just like maybe a couple of vlogs a week. And I am working on getting more structured. Like school was fairly structured this first year. It was all of our first time. It was their first time doing any kind of school. It was my first time homeschooling. Now this coming year, I kind of like understand the time commitment that it is and the organization that's required. And I want to do some more things for them. So like more not extracurricular, like special type classes. So we have our core curriculum, and then I want to start incorporating more music and art. And so have kind of a plan going into the year of like which project we're going to do by the week, sort of correlating with what our curriculum is doing. So yeah, anyway, that's where we're at. It's going to be fun, and I feel like by doing that I will have a little bit more predictability in my day to like have time to pick up the vlog camera. That's my goal. Things are just like overall getting, I mean, this last year, 2 years, more so this last year has been like extremely challenging. Just a lot of things. We're living in a new town, homeschooling, 5 kids, 2 of those kids being toddlers, which toddlers, I don't care what people say, they're way harder than babies, like newborn infant babies. They're just like on another level of difficulty. Sleep deprivation isn't as bad, but they are just like, you can't take your eyes off of them. Anyway, I feel like we can start breathing again. That is sort of what it feels like the last couple of weeks is I have my house in a place where I can kind of, I don't know, trust the kids a little bit more. The big 3 are way more trustworthy. It's just like things are getting a little bit easier. So that's a relief. It's also sad because it means everybody's getting older. But anyway, we will try to be better about vlogging for the 100th time.